Hello guys, this is the next tutorial and today we are going to be making scenes, right? Last episode we made the window, now we're going to make the scenes. What are scenes? Well, you can think of scenes as like different parts in a game, such as, the main menu, that's one scene, and then a different scene would be the game part. Another scene might be, I don't know, the settings, something like that. And with each scene, like, there's always a different theme, right? It's kind of like in a play scene, right? Different things happen in different scenes. And we will be able to switch scenes. Now, in the game we're going to make after this game engine tutorial, there are only going to be two scenes. That's going to be the menu scene and the game scene. The menu scene is going to hold the main menu, and the game scene will hold, well, the game. All right, so let's do this. So first, what we're going to want to do is first fix this warning right here, because that's giving me ADHD. Actually, wait, no, this is incorrect. And down here, I realized we do not need this try statement, so you can delete that. And now we need to actually create the scene class. All right, so let's create a new package. Let's call it scene or scenes. And then let's create a new Java class inside of this package and call it scene. Now this scene class is going to be an abstract method, right? Abstract class, which means it's basically the blueprints of different objects, right? So if we have two different scenes, but each scene has different contents, they are going to inherit this scene class. And that scene class will basically make sure that they have all of the attributes that every scene should have. All right, so let's start by creating, let's start by creating that scene, abstract scene class, and then we're going to create a couple of methods inside of this. We're going to make public abstract void update, and we'll say double DT. DT stands for delta time. And then we'll do public abstract void, and we'll call this render, and we're going to pass in the graphics, a graphics component, and make sure you import the AWT package up here. And then we're going to do public void setback, or no, it's going to be protected void set backdrop. I'm going to pass in color, so this is going to be the background color. And then we're going to make another method called private void set backdrop. And then we should actually change this to say update backdrop right here. And then we'll do here window.setBackdrop to this dot backdrop. All right, so we haven't created those two methods and variables, but over here on the top, we're going to make that. So we're going to have a new color object, not here, right here, protected color. We're going to call this backdrop, set it to a new color by default that passes in RGB 0, 0, 0, and alpha A. All right, and then in the set backdrop method, we're going to say that, this dot backdrop equals to the color we passed in through the parameters, and then we're just going to, not set the backdrop, we're going to update the backdrop. I can't type. Okay, so this is how we will be creating background colors. We're first going to set the backdrop right here to a specific color. This should actually be private. We're going to set the backdrop color to a specific color by calling this method, set backdrop color, color. We're going to pass in the color, and we're going to set the backdrop in the scene class to the color we specified, and then we're going to update the backdrop via this method over here, where we are going to set the window, tell the window to actually draw this color and set the actual backdrop to the color we specified in this scene, which we have now set here. Alright, so it's kind of like a queue system, right? We queue the color, and then we immediately update it with that queued color. Okay. Now we have to make that method in the actual window method, otherwise it does not matter. So go to the window class over here, and below get JFrame or get canvas, we're going to do public static void set backdrop, and we're going to pass in a color, and then we're going to do get, so to get the instance, backdrop equals to color. So with the set backdrop, we are going to set a color object to the backdrop we specified in the parameters, and we will do so in here, color, or this is going to be backdrop. So now the window is going to have its own backdrop color. And this is, we are going to actually draw, this is the color that we will draw to the scene. Okay. Now, we're going to have to actually create, so in a scene, there's going to be two functions that are called when updating. You remember this loop function? We did a while loop. We said while running, right? And it's looping every time. And remember these comments, update and render, that we put in comments. So these are going to be functions, just like that. They're going to be functions. However, the thing is that with a scene, there's always two things that are being updated. There's going to be the tick and the render. This time we're calling the tick the update, right? So what does each do? Well, we're going to first update, let's say you have a player in the game. We're going to update the position in the tick method or the update method. So we're going to update the position, and then after that, we will actually render these changes to the screen. That's what this render method is going to do. Now these are going to be uncommented. And up here above the loop, let's actually make these methods. All right, so we're going to have the update method, private void update, and we'll just pass in the delta time in the parameters, and then we're going to add the render method. And in this render method, we're going to create a buffered, not a buffered image, buffer strategy called BS, and it's going to be set to get canvas.get buffer strategy. So if you don't know, a buffer is basically like you're taking, let's say you have a letter you want to send, right? And that letter, or 3 letters you want to send. Now, by default, what's going to happen is you're going to send one letter, and then after you send that letter, you're going to send another letter, and after you send that letter, you're going to send another letter after that. Well, this buffer strategy is basically like, all right, let's make a strategy. Instead of sending each one individually, which will be slower, let's package all 3 letters into one box and send that. That's going to be our messaging strategy. That's basically what a buffer strategy is. All right, so now we're going to say if bs equals to null, then we are doing get canvas.create buffer strategy, and we'll do 3 buffers. So remember I said like that packaging thing with the 3 letters? Well, we're basically saying, all right, let's package 3 letters into that one package and then send that package. If we set it to 4, then we would be saying, all right, let's put 4 letters into that one package and send that package off. All right, and I might get that wrong. I might be getting that wrong. I'm not entirely sure. I doubt it. but I'm pretty sure that's correct. All right, so now we're going to create a graphics object. Call that G. We'll set it to bs.getDrawGraphics. And then we are, so this object, this is what we will be using to actually draw everything. All right, so before we draw anything, we want to clear the screen of any remaining drawings from the last frame. So we're gonna do, let's put in comments clear screen so that we know what exactly we're doing. And let's do g.clear rectangle. We'll set it from 0 to 0, 0, 0, get frame.get width, get frame.get height. So we're just gonna get the everything in the screen, and we're just gonna, clear everything, erase everything. And then we're gonna actually render the scene. So render scene here. And first we're gonna set the backdrop. Remember that backdrop we spent a couple minutes on? Let's actually draw the backdrop, or color in the backdrop. And by doing this, we have to set the color. When we're drawing something, we always have to say, all right, let's set the color to this, and then draw with this color. So that's what this is doing. G.setColor, we set the color, and then we actually draw with that color. So we're going to fill the rectangle, 0, 0, get width, get height. Oops. Get height. There we go. Now we're going to render the scene. So this should actually say render backdrop, and then this is going to be render scene here. All right, so here we're going to do current scene.render, render the graphics, and then we would do a GUI layer right here, but let's not work on that today. So let's do current scene.render, and then we'll do end drawing. So after each drawing, after each frame, we're going to do bs.show, so actually show the drawing, and then we're going to dispose of it. Okay. And if you want to know more about what these functions do, you can just hover your mouse over it, it'll tell you. But from my guess, it's going to show the graphics, and then we're going to say dispose in order to say, all right, we've shown it, and don't need to use it anymore. I'm guessing, but yeah. Okay, so now let's work on the update method. We're just going to do current scene.update dt. Okay, this current scene object, we haven't actually made it. So let's go ahead and make it now. It's just going to be a simple object that we will write up here. And right over, let's put it right here. We can do private static scene, current scene, because we want to access the scene from anywhere in our game code. And we're going to set that to null initially. And then let's make a method called change scene. Now this method will look a little bit confusing at first. Now actually, alright, so let's do public static void change scene. So we're going to want to be able to change the scene from wherever in our code. So we're going to pass in a class object. Alright, this will all make sense later. So we're going to pass in a class object, and this class object is basically just going to be the Java file or the class of the scene we want to change to. Okay, so now we're going to say if the scene class dot is instance of scene class. So first we're making sure that the class we passed in is actually a scene, right? And then we're going to say if it is, oh wait, scene class dot is instant. We're going to do assert false class scene class is not a subclass of scene, and then we're going to return. All right, if the wait, this isn't right. I think it might be that. Whatever. Okay, so then we're going to do scene target scene equals to null. Here, let's put in to do just in case scene changing fails, check this line. All right, just a little note for later in case it doesn't work. So let's do if current scene does not equal to null, So if we haven't actually created the scene yet, then we're gonna do if we have created the scene, and the class is equal to the scene class that we specified. So what this is saying is, all right, if if we haven't set the scene yet, right? I'm being stupid. If we have set the scene, and the scene we passed in through the parameters is the same one as the scene that is currently on display, then we're going to run this code. So we're going to do assert false cannot change to current scene. Right, so we're saying, all right, you can't set the scene to the scene that's already being on display, so I'm going to say current scene. Let's do that. All right. Whoops, what just happened? That's odd. All right. Otherwise, we should be good, and we should just change the scene. All right, so we'll do boolean scene exists equals to false. Now we're going to check if the scene exists by iterating through all of the scenes that exist, that exist. We'll do check if each class and each scene that we have created is equal to the parameters. This equals, do that. Scene exists equals to true. Target scene equals to s. So now we're actually queuing the scene because we want to change it. And then we'll do break, which stops the for loop. And just delete this, doesn't matter. Here we can do if the scene does not exist, then we will do a try catch statement. Oops. We're going to try target scene equals to scene. So we're creating the scene. Dot get. What is class? Oh, what? Scene class. Dot get declared constructor. Dot new instance. All right. And then we're going to do scenes dot add target scene. All right. Now we're going to do a catch statement. We're going to catch for this error. Actually, it's going to be 3 errors. Instantiation exception, illegal access exception, and invocation target exception, and and we're checking for no such method exception. Just going to call all of those E, and if any of those invoke an error, we're going to throw a new runtime exception called E. There we go. And let's do that. Why not? All right. Okay, so then we actually did this here. Let's continue. Okay, so now if it exists, then we will do if the current scene does not equal to null. Oh, not here. Let's do current scene equals target scene. Current scene dot. No, we haven't created that. Sorry, that's in a future tutorial. Current scene dot init and current scene dot start. Okay, so first let's create this actual scenes array list. But actually, before we do that, let's create a. Whoops, what just happened? Before we do that, let's create a public static scene get scene, and we're just going to return the current scene. And so, yeah, okay, now let's create that scenes list. Private static final list of scenes called scenes equals to new array list. What do you want? Required type list of scenes provided. Huh? Oh, I imported the wrong list type. Alright. Okay. So now let's actually create these methods right here in the scene class. And all of these methods are actually, they're going to be optional, so they will not be abstract. And we are going to put them at the top over here. Public scene, nope, public void init. And then we're going to do public void start. And then let's just do to do start each game. Start each game object. That's for me for later, so ignore that. And then it seems we're getting an error here. Oops. Oh, I imported the wrong window. Let's do window dot this one. All right, there we go. Okay. I think that's it. So when we run it, oh wait, nothing's gonna, so okay. So none of the changes will actually be visible quite yet. But first we haven't actually changed the scene, but it looks like we're getting an error anyways. Oh, it's because we didn't set the, yeah. Okay, so we actually have to set an initial scene. So let's actually create a scene class over here. Create a new test scene. Let's call this extend the scene class. Implement these methods right here. And we'll set it to test scene.class. Alright, we have no, we do have an error. What's the problem? Oh, wait a minute. Is it because I did this? There we go. Yep, I knew this comment would come in handy. Alright. So you can see that the scene by default is set to black. So let's go in this test scene, and in the init method that we created, let's do set backdrop to color.blue. Right, set it to blue. There, we have a blue scene. I don't know. Let's do g.set color to color.aqua. Oh, cyan. Fine, cyan. And then we'll do fill rectangle. I don't know, 50, 50, 64, 64. Let's run this. You can see it drew the shape. Cool. And then let's test the changing of scenes. So let's say test scene 2. Okay, I put 23 by accident. Extends scene class. Let's implement those methods. And then we'll do, in the init method, we'll do set backdrop to black. Right. Alright, so then, so then we'll just go here. We'll run it. And you can see it's the initial scene. And I I don't know, let's set a timer. I was gonna make it so that when you click a button, it changed scenes, but I realized we haven't implemented key listeners yet, so we'll do int 0, int a equals to 0, and we'll say per update a plus plus if a is greater or equal to, I don't know, let's do 1,000, 10,000. We'll do window.change scene. We'll change it to test scene 23 class. Alright, so should run. There we go, it's black. Oh, okay. Has to be a lot longer than that. Number too large. There, see? It's blue and blue. This is scene, the regular scene. And then it should change. Come on. Is it gonna change? It should change. Come on. Change. Why aren't you changing? No, what am I doing wrong? Come on. Set backdrop to black. God damn it. Okay, we have some sort of bug. Let's print out something when that could be a bug with our code or just my method. It might be my method of changing scenes. Yeah, okay, so let's shorten this. Shorten our time. That's too short, of course. This sucks. Maybe this. Nope. Still too short. Why? I want to show you guys that it works. Okay, come on. Come on, let's wait. Change. Why do they torture me like this? This is so dumb. Well, anyways, you know it works. Well, if you don't, take my word for it, but it works. So, yeah. Let's end this video because that was an awkward ending. But yes, you know what, next tutorial, let's do the key manager. That way we can actually see this work in action. Alright, so see ya.